Hello. Hello, viewers. Hello, everybody. I should say good to see you, but I don't see you. But for sure, you can see me and hear me. So, for a small request on the beginning, please let me know in the questions section if you hear me well and if you see me, because this is important part of our presentation today, not only to hear what I'm saying, but also seeing what I'm going to present you. So let me know if everything is working. I will be really grateful for feedback today. Okay, I see more people are coming. So let's wait one more minute before we start to gather more people, more audience here. Okay. Okay, I received first feedback. Thank you, Elena, for saying everything is working. So I assume it works for everybody. So that's good. That means I can actually start today's presentation, today's webinar training. So on the beginning, let me introduce myself. My name is Adam Kaczmarek, and I am product manager at ZeeVee Solutions. And today I will be your main presenter, and I will tell you more about AV over IP products we have in our portfolio. Today's focus is to talk about portfolio. I will not go into very technical stuff today. However, in some areas, I will do it, but just a little bit, to give you an introduction what we are going to introduce, what it's actually available in our offer. So let's start. One more thing, you have the panel questions panel available for you. So don't hesitate. If you have any question or you want to dig into our portfolio or want me to dig into something with more details, just let me know. I will do it on the spot. And also during today's presentation, I will have some questions to you. So I have polls ready to be deployed for you. Okay. So let's start. First, what's the plan for today? So on the beginning, I will tell you a little bit more about what is going on in terms of AV over IP numbers or positions in our offer or globally. What are the I try to find like interesting bits which will give you the feeling where everything is going and why. So let's start it. Let's actually talk about AV over IP today. So first and foremost, it's growing. It's still growing, guys. We have a huge increase in terms of AV over IP sales. And the numbers you see here, it's actually the revenue share for AV over IP in 2024 and 2025. And you see, 2024, it was 8th position in terms of product categories in our portfolio. And the last year, which was actually even better in terms of general total numbers, AV over IP was dominant, like a first place. So you can see it's growing, and I can say that 2026 so far, the trend is here. It's still growing. Yes. Why? Because we see more and more projects registered with AV over IP products on board. In this year, for projects with end date for the current year, AV over IP product category is again on the first place in terms of the general numbers. Why? And this is actually like my opinion, my feeling on the market, but you will see, and probably you will agree with some of my opinions here. So first reason is actually the trust in technology, in AVoIP technology is growing. Like a couple of years ago, AVoIP was considered nice but future technology. Why? Because of instability or because of the network factor. The network is actually pretty important here. But these days, the network is stable, the devices itself are very robust, very stable, so the trust is growing. And the second thing, it's the price. The price of AVoIP solutions is actually here. It's like it's never been more attractive like today's. We have a specific number of solutions, a very wide portfolio, so we can actually select the budget-friendly solution if you want to do AVoIP on cheap, or you can go premium. You will have nice price tag, but you will get all the best coming from this standard. And actually, all the advantages AVoIP is offering, they are more and more visible and more important for you, system integrators, resellers, like a USB signal data transmission, very good integration of Dante or other audio technologies. So it's actually here, and it's maybe not very unique in AVoIP, but in this, together with AVoIP implementation of nice new features, it's actually growing rapidly. That was the data, which was actually our internal data about the AVoIP products. But it's not only us. Worldwide, Europa-wide, it's actually also growing. The adoption is growing, and the trust into the technology is growing. This is some data from Audinet and FutureSource report about AVoIP adoption. You can see the answer here. Why AVoIP is getting better and better sales every year. So people are now understand that the scalability, which is the one of the features of AVoIP, it's very important. Future-proof technology. This is actually AVoIP. If you need to secure your signal, there is a network factor here, but it doesn't matter. AVoIP is considered now one of the safest technology in terms of sending the signal from point A to B. The management, which is actually even better, it can be accessible remotely or on site. So it's a very good addition to this technology. Cost savings, overcoming the cable limitations, and actually the latency these days, it's not that visible for specific standards codecs. So as you can see, it's growing and it's not going to stop. So let's see what we as a Modulid solution can offer you in terms of the portfolio, the brands, the technologies. So I can say it's very wide, our portfolio. We can offer you different manufacturers which are supplying different technologies. If you want to go with 1 gigabit Ethernet network for AVoIP, well, we have plenty of devices. If you don't want to compromise on the quality and the 10 gigabit is the option you consider, we have a hefty of options to offer you to support these requirements. If you need Dante, if you need SDVoE, or you want to implement something which is considered one of the best prospect standards for the future, which is APMX, we also have it. Okay, so let's go and talk about portfolio. In the meantime, I'm checking if there are any questions. Don't hesitate, ask the questions. I will be glad to answer you. So first of all, AVoIP portfolio from Kramer and ZeeVee. Kramer brand, you know, everybody knows it in our industry, but the different thing is ZeeVee. So just to remind you that the ZeeVee is the AVoIP manufacturer from the US. And around 2 years ago, Kramer decided to buy ZeeVee. And now the Kramer and ZeeVee offer is actually integrated into one. And what you see right now on the slide, it's actually the full representations of portfolio. Starting from the left, high compression codecs, then proprietary codecs, 4K 30, 4K 60 Hertz, it's all here. Then we are going to the 10 gigabit solutions, which is actually SDVoE related products. So this is the widest we have in terms of AV over IP, Kramer, ZeeVee. So let's discuss the devices in specifics. KDS 100, it's a heavy compression H.264 265 device. I will not go really into details about these products. But what I will do is actually point out some nice features coming with this kind of devices. So the first thing is it's a H.264 265. So the bandwidth requirements here are very low. So it may be a requirement for your project. So keep that in mind. But this device is actually also able to stream not one, like the encoder is able to stream not one, but two independent streams. So you can actually use it as a previous solution, the secondary stream, and the first one mainstream, just to connect with the decoder. What is also here? It's a VLAN support, selection of RJ44 fiber connectivity. So it's not the cheapest H.264 265 decoder encoder solution, but it's actually very rich in terms of these additional features. The connectivity, the VLAN support, dual stream. But also, and this is new, KVM support, because the new devices with the U letter at the end are actually coming with USB ports, which means you can use it as a KVM solution as well. So let's go beyond H.264 to 65. Let's go to the JPEG 2000 or iteration of this AV over IP codec. And KDS7 from Kramer, it's actually one of the best you can get for the price. What is this exactly? So KDS7, I can say it's the best selling AV over IP products if we take under consideration past 3 years in our company. Why? Because price to quality or quality or functionality to price ratio is actually quite good. What you can get here, it's the low latency 4K, not 60, but 30 Hertz. It comes with the USB data ports for KVM. And also, if you select proper decoder, encoder, you can get USB Type-C connections. And Dante is here on encoders only. So it's actually a really good device if you need to send 4K signal with the very low latency and you don't want to overpay for additional features. Basic model, but still perfect fit for many AV over IP projects. The next thing is KDS17 and Zyper UHD. Why we are talking about those two different devices together? Because the hardware-wise, they are very similar. It's actually manufactured by the ZeeVee, also KDS17. So what's good? First, they can interoperate. So we can connect them together inside one AV over IP project. It's not very common to do it, but you can do it. So keep in mind, if you have some old Zyper installation or old KDS17 installation, you can actually add more devices which are not the same model, so to speak, this even different manufacturer. KDS17, this is the product I want to focus on. It's actually the best-selling model if we take under consideration last year. Crazy popular. Why? Because, again, functions this device is offering. So we have encoders, decoders, both supporting Dante, a USB, which you can actually use in so many with so many different applications. For example, the USB data is here, but not only for KVM, but for the cameras. So you can connect the camera to the decoder and then get access to the camera on the encoder side. Through, for example, USB Type-C port, because of course we have USB Type-C USB Type-C ports on the encoders here. What else? 4K 60 Hz 444. So there is a compression here, but actually it's quite efficient, and the latency is lower than in KDS7 despite having the even higher resolution. So this is the perfect fit for the environments where you need very low latency and the best possible quality and the Dante integration and more in terms of the options. I really recommend that product, especially it's actually fighting in the same league like Crestron devices, Crestron AV over IP or AMX, but price-wise, well, I just can say it's cheaper, but the quality is actually here. But this is not only about KDS17 current portfolio, because there are new products coming. First, the wall plate encoder, which is actually quite good addition. If you want to create AV over IP system with a nice encoder input endpoint, the wall plate encoder is a great fit. You can put it in the podium, you can put it on the wall, and it offers you this USB Type-C plus HDMI connection input ports connections available, functionality. But what's even more interesting, I believe, it's actually the KDS17 Lite. And this is just one device. And in this one device, you can program, set to be encoder or decoder, which means it's actually a transceiver. I can say that it will be cheaper than standard encoder and decoder, so it will budget-wise very good solution, and making it transceiver, it's actually quite smart move because you can use it in the projects where you just need to add display or source and you are not sure how many of them you want to add. So you can buy just KDS17 Lite, certain number, and afterwards you can configure them to act as an encoder or decoder, and buy more or leave them for the future if you still have something left. Quite good solution coming soon, and by coming soon I mean for both new products Q3 this year, after summertime I believe. And that was 1 gigabit. That were to 1 gigabit solutions. Let's go to the 10 gigabit with Zyper 4K solution. Zyper 4K is SDVoE product, which means it works under this very popular, or at least becoming popular standard for AV over IP. What does it bring to the table if we compare it, for example, with KDS17? So first, there is no compression. So the signal quality is actually the best you can get. It's top notch. And because there is no compression, it's also no latency at all. It's close to zero latency. Of course, there is some, but you will not notice it. So this is the best solution in the environments, projects, scenarios where you actually need to have the best possible quality, no latency at all, and you don't care about budget. Why? Because those solutions are actually quite pricey. First, you need to build 10 gigabit network infrastructure, which is actually more expensive in comparison to 1 gigabit. The first encoders, decoders itself are actually also more expensive if you compare it to, I don't know, KDS17, for example. But again, it brings you the best possible quality, no latency at all, and slightly improved options in terms of the products itself. Here you can get actually the fiber connection if you need it, or copper, which is more standard. But if you need to go with the fiber, it's here. Just select the proper part number. It also comes with the Dante integration, USB 2.0 standard integration. So again, connection with the cameras or all other USB devices is here. Okay, the next thing is actually management platforms. Because, if we are considering AV over IP infrastructure, really often we forget about one thing, which is AV over IP manager. So independent device, a hardware, which is in the system connected to the IP switch and it's managing the configuration of encoders and decoders. And this device, it's, yeah, really often we just don't remember to add it. But it's important, especially in many cases. So let's go discuss the Kramer way. So first, about the Kramer AVoIP solutions, there is a flexibility here because AV over IP Manager is a must, but you can select if you want to go, for example, through cloud solution, which is subscription-based model, or you want to have a standalone device, a hardware device, which is somewhere in the system and you paid for it only once. So you can select it. AV over IP Manager, part of Pantarray service, or a standalone solution. From our perspective, the people, our customers, are now selecting almost only hardware solution. We have few requests about the cloud, but it's not that popular. And the hardware solution means also one thing. You can integrate it inside the network without access to without having access to external services. For cloud solution, it's actually not possible. You need to allow your network to be open in order to access the cloud services of Kramer. But again, you can select the way. So what's new in terms of AV over IP Manager? Both cloud and an on-premise solution. So first, KDS 17 and Zyper UHD, they are now working together inside one installation. The API is now more open, which means you can actually connect your AV over IP system not only to Kramer Control, but any third-party control system. Doesn't matter, Crestron, Extron, the API is open for you. The hardware solution comes with two LANs for control media and also VLAN support. There is also user access control, which means you can create specific accounts for users with different level of functions available for them. So at the end, AV over IP Manager doesn't matter if it's cloud or hardware-based solution. It's to make your life easier because you have one interface of AV over IP Manager to configure, to upgrade firmware in a bulk. So you can do it for all devices at once. There is also Zyper management platform available, which is like a remaining part of a ZeeVee offer. And what's the difference? It's actually slightly more advanced than classic AV over IP Manager, and it's coming in more hardware based form factors. So you can have like a rack unit, Zyper management platform computer rack unit, or more smaller form factor, which is NUC based computer, or you can actually buy a VMware license to install Zyper management platform on a virtual machine inside your network. So the difference is, just to let you know, the Zyper management platform is allowing you to create more advanced scenarios with multi-view, bigger video walls, offering you slightly more options in terms of KVM. But again, the number of options we are offering is actually quite big. So if you have some doubts or you are not sure which one to select, we are here to help you. Okay, guys, so let's go to the another brand. And the another brand, it's actually quite something new, interesting we can offer for you. And it's Just Add Power. Hopefully, everybody knows that we are now a PureLink distributor in all our territories. And thanks to the access to the PureLink offer, we actually can sell Just Add Power, which is the US manufacturer of AV over IP solutions only. And it's interesting offer. We are still learning about it, learning which devices are available, what are the functions, what are the pros, what are the cons on this kind of solution. But I can tell you from the start, it's actually looking really interesting. First, it's working under 1 gigabit network architecture. So more standard, more popular. The offer itself, it's very easy to understand. There are 3 different series starting from the right. Let me do it like this. So Omega series, it's Full HD. Ultra series, it's 4K 30 Hz. And Max Color, the best from the bunch, is 4K 60 Hz. All over 1 gigabit network. But again, this is AV over AP. So what's the main difference if we compare it to Kramer solutions, for example? So the first and foremost, it's there is no need for AV over IP manager here. So how does it work? How we configure those devices, you may ask. Let me explain it to you. So you need to connect your PC with the AV over IP network, and you need to have special app which is delivered with Just Add Power solutions. And this app is doing the job for you. So you are scanning the network, searching for encoders, decoders, doing the configuration, setting the presets, saving the settings on every device, every encoder, decoder from Just Add Power. And then you can disconnect your PC and it's just working. No AV or IP manager. It's purely based on the ports on IP switches. It's a superb solution. Especially, it makes it easier to configure because the configuration wizard Just Add Power is bringing to the table, it's really easy. But it's easy, but it doesn't mean it's limited in terms of functionalities because KVM, multi-view, everything is here. You can actually create very big, very advanced projects with Just Add Power. And the price-wise, it's also very attractive. It's somewhere between KDS 7 and KDS 17. So again, if you need or if you don't want to invest more into AV over IP network and you don't want to have AV over IP manager inside it, maybe this is the way. Okay, let's move to Infobit products. Infobit is the brand we consider the most budget-friendly in our offer in terms of AV over IP. So every product you see here, it's actually equivalent of some Just Add Power or Kramer solution, but with the lower price tag. Of course, it's doing certain things differently. It's limited in terms of the functions sometimes. But again, if you want to have AV over IP in your project, but the budget is very strict, this may be a solution for you. So let's start with the heavy compression codec, which is H.264.265. Here we have actually the least expensive solution, the cheapest solutions in terms of AV over IP in our offer. I switched to 265. Available in different models with Full HD only, 4K 30, 4K 60, with the external streaming capabilities and everything. It's actually here. And if you have access to our website, go see the prices because they are really, really low. You can use it in different scenarios, and Infobit is actually claiming that some of those solutions doesn't require AV over IP switch at all. You can use it with the simple standard switch without any issues. But I suggest to check it first. Okay, let's go to the JPEG 2000 codec iteration, working still under 1 gigabit network. I switch to 1000. And again, this is really price attractive solution. With the specific output, you need 4K 30, 4K 60 Hz with Dante available or not, with dual stream. So you can have the best possible quality mainstream and the secondary stream, which will be H.264, to allow, for example, specific user for preview. This is the selection of models you can get here. There is a wall plate version, which is quite good, and also Dante versions if you need it. Interesting part about it, it's actually, let's call it more advanced integrations where we have a, for example, hotel scenario with a couple of Dante speakers, couple of microphones, a camera for video conferencing, and here we can actually just use iSwitch 2000 products to integrate everything. Even the camera signal back, it's here, it's working. And the next thing is SDVoE offer. So working under 10 gigabit network infrastructure. So again, the cheapest SDVoE EV you can get from our portfolio, 4K 60, 444, no latency. So every perks coming with SDVoE technology are here. But what's interesting in this offer is actually how streamlined it is. You actually have just two devices here. First is the transceiver. So the device, you can use it as a decoder or encoder. You can select it. And then there is the AVoIP manager to manage the streams. And that's all, just two devices. Really easy to do. Everything which is a part of the SDVoE solutions are here. So you can have the multi-view, you can have full KVM support, everything it's here. Some representations. And guys, let's go to Matrox offer. So the Matrox offer, it's actually the AV over IP or the most advanced AV over IP devices we have in our portfolio. So they are not popular like in the mainstream AV over IP projects, but from time to time we have a very nice projects which are requiring, for example, very specific signal flow, or you need to have like a multi-channel solutions with allows you to do more with the signal. So here, to fill this kind of projects, we have a Matrox products available for you. The Matrox Mavex is actually the most popular solution we have. So this is the encoders and decoders. But the key feature here is they are actually multi-channel solutions. So you can, for example, connect 4 sources into the encoder and 4 displays to the decoder. And you can actually play with the signals here with, without any issues. What's cool, it's actually, despite having H.264 standard, 264, 265 on board, the codecs, it's the devices, the hardware itself, it's really strong. It's really powerful, which makes this signal low latency signal. So you can use it for KVM-like solutions. So yes, this product is actually quite good. If you need kind of a multitasking solution for handling more than one display on the decoder side and multiple sources on the encoder side. And also, because this is H.264, 265 popular standard, you can use it, for example, decoder to decode camera streams or a VLC streams, or use encoder to stream the video into the network and use VLC software to decode it. So you see that the options are actually quite strong. The next thing is the device I call decoder and video wall controller in one box. Why? Because this is actually a AVoIP decoder with 4 HDMI outputs you can use to connect with the displays inside the video wall. LCD based, LED based, doesn't matter. Just use it, whatever you want, because this device allows you to do so many things with the signal. So first of all, it's a H.264, 265 and JPEG XS decoder. So you can actually use it to decode different type of the signals and, display them over the video wall. But what's a very interesting thing here, it doesn't require specific AV over IP manager to work. It's actually AV over IP manager itself. You just need to log into the device and you will see that the Mura control software, the web application, is so easy to use, so easy to navigate. And I strongly recommend that for the projects where you need to have like a really nice graphical user interface to handle video walls. So video wall controller and decoder in one box. And this is the representation of potential projects we can create with you. As you can see, it's not like we need to use one Mura DVW. We can actually stack them together to create bigger video walls, or maybe to decode more numbers, higher numbers of H.264 streams, which can be, for example, camera streams, or MEVEX streams, or some kind of media server streaming in this standard. So actually, you can mix different sources and just make them visible on the video wall. And the next standard is IPMX. So we talked briefly about H.264.265 solutions, proprietary standards like Kramer KDS 717. We talked briefly about SDVoE, and now there is a new thing coming. It's a IPMX, a new standard. It's actually not like a very new standard. It's on the market for a couple of years, but now we see that it's getting more and more visible in our industry, Pro AV. So key facts about it. First, it's coming from broadcasting industry, which means it's an iteration of adaptation of ST2110 broadcasting standard, but with addition of all AV or Pro AV functions. So HDCP support, edit, or transferring also the USB data signal alongside the audio video, it's here. The key part is actually it's totally for free for the manufacturers. It's an open standard. No licensing fees are here, which means we can predict that in the future, companies will implement it widely because they do not need to pay. For example, SDVoE Alliance. They don't need to pay for specific HD-based chips. They don't need to pay, for example, for H.264, 265 implementation, which is public standard, but not totally free. So, yes, I predict that it will become popular and even in a couple of years. I hope, because it brings some nice features to the table as well. First, it's a flexibility. 1 gigabit network, it will work with it because we can set the compression level. 10 gigabit, of course, and even 25 gigabit network infrastructure is supported here. If we don't want to have any compression at all, transmit 8K signal without any latency. So it's the most future-proof standard you can get from us these days. If you compare it to the others, you see there are clear differences. Like the latency, it's more to be on par with the SDVoE. In terms of the bandwidth, it's elastic, so you can start with 1 gigabit and you will get very good results, but you can grow with the signal quality for you. But the thing is, it's just starting. It's on the beginning of the way. So the implementation of IPMX, it's not wide. We have some solutions for you, but there is more things coming, but they are not here right now as we speak. So the selection of the devices, it's not that wide. Speaking of the devices, what we can offer for is actually the convert IP from Matrox, which is a AV over IP solutions working under IPMX. I will not go into very specific details here. I just want to emphasize, if you want to have a very straightforward solution with HDMI input output working under copper, it's here. If you want to have more advanced solution with USB ports, with fiber connections, with more than one HDMI port on board, actually we can recommend you different Matrox solutions. So the offer, even if it's just the beginning, it's quite wide here. And also coming from Matrox, we have some AV over IP gateways. So I believe this is the best representation. So Matrox ecosystem, thanks to the Vion products, we can use them to translate different AV over IP standards, such as NDI solutions, NDI streams, convert IP, which is actually IPMX, HDMI signal we can connect into SDI camera we can connect, and we can translate all those signals into H.264 265 stream, and then, for example, connect it with MEVEX decoders or Mura DVW solutions to show it all over the world. All over the world, the video wall, of course. So you see the solutions or the projects we can achieve with that. It's very nice ecosystem coming from one manufacturer here. Okay, about the products, don't forget about IP switches. Yes, you need it, because part of every AV over IP installation, like the key part of it, it's of course AV over IP switch, because AV over IP it's actually it's using network infrastructure to transmit the signal. So you can do it in two ways from our perspective. You can select or have like a classic way. And by the classic way, I mean you can go with the Netgear equipment. And we have Netgear in our offer, and it's a proven solution, easy to integrate, mostly because of fantastic AV profiles it offers. So the integration of it, it's actually very easy, very. But there is also another way I want to talk about. It's the different manufacturer. It's a Niveo. It's also easy to integrate, but it comes with the better pricing and in some cases better availability. Why? You know, the Netgear has some from time to time, especially in Q4, they have some issues with the availability because they are crazy popular. So if you want to have like a very good solution, but don't wait for your queue to deliver the product, the Niveo may be the better solution. And we tested it. In actually Niveo, there are professional IP switches for AV over IP installations. If you compare it to the different solutions, it's in terms of the price, it's cheaper than Cisco. It's cheaper than Netgear in most cases, but what it comes with, it's actually the better price structure. So you can actually earn more money thanks to the Niveo. Of course, there is a warranty here, support is free of charge, and if you ask me about the key functionality, this besides, of course, AV over IP implementation, it's actually the PoE additional functions, power monitoring, filtering, auto healing, or scheduling the PoE function on each port separately. So how to select proper device? Oh, you see, the number of products here is quite wide, but the selector from Niveo is actually really easy to use. And I can share it with you in a second. Give me a second, because this selector you can actually download from their website. Where is the chat? Here. And you can play with it. search for a proper product, and if you are still not sure which device to select, remember, we are here to help. So just ask us, we will help you to prepare or select proper product. Maybe there will be a situation where you already designed into the system Netgear switch, but it's not available due to the shortages. What we can do, we can find a replacement for you, which will be, very similar to Netgear. Just let us know, we will help you. Okay, use cases. So how AVoIP can be implemented. But first, let me ask you a short question about IP config for AVoIP, because there are still people which are hesitant to implement AVoIP project because of this network factor. So my question to you is network configuration a challenge for you? And you should see the poll on your display. So help me by answering the questions. I'm really interested what will be your answer here. Okay, since we are gathering the answers, it will probably take some time here. I will go for the AVoIP implementation examples here. So the first is one of our most popular AVoIP projects we are very often discussing with you, with our partners. It's about control room with KVM, and it's all AVoIP based. And this is important example for us. Why? Because till this project, most of the video wall control rooms projects we done using classic video wall controllers, because they are still considered more stable solution, more robust, with more redundancy options. But thanks to projects like this, we can actually prove that AVoIP can also be used in mission critical scenarios like this one. Okay, let me end the poll and let's see the results here. So the results, the answers from you, it's yes. Very often IP config, it's a challenge for me. But some of you also answered that it's not that often that the over IP integration, basic network integration itself, it's hard. And some of you are actually outsourcing this kind of implementations. Interesting. Thank you for your answers here. Okay, so let's discuss this example fast. So what we have here, it's actually a nice project with the hardware room, which is separated from the control room itself. On the hardware room side, we have encoders. In the control room side, we have decoders to decode the signal from the sources. But besides video wall, what we also have here is the operator stations, actually two of them. What is cool here in this scenario? It's actually how smart it is, how asynchronous is, and how flexible it is. So first, we have a video wall where we used actually limited number of decoders and daisy chain built inside the video wall monitors to display the signal over the video wall. So only 4 decoders actually to power up 10 screens. Then we have operator stations. So the stations where the operator can locally preview what's going on in terms of the sources, but also, thanks to the keyboard and mouse, have access to the sources remotely. And everything is done through KDS 17. So encoding, decoding, and KVM support, and also access to the video conferencing equipment, which is quite cool. So to manage this kind of scenario, we need to have a control system. We use here Kramer control, obviously. And the control panel, which is the face of the control system here, it's actually between operator 1 and 2. And we can use it to control the presets, layouts visible on the video wall, but also local access, local preview for the operator stations. So the product list is here, encoders, decoders, of course AVoIP manager, some accessories, and control devices, and of course AVoIP switch from Niveo, it's here. What are the benefits? It's a cost-effective solution because we can actually select the specific number of decoders, encoders, or actually we limited number of decoders here to lower the general total costs. It's easy to modify. So if we will need more sources, just add encoders. If we need to add one more operator station, just add more decoders, do the configuration one more time, and it should be fine. The second implementation, or actually two implementations, it's a mobile tactical command and control center. So first is the police vehicle we have here. And this one is interesting because what we did here, we actually implemented heavy compression codecs H.264 solutions. So KDS 100U version. Why? Because in this police vehicle, we actually needed also to access to have access to video from drones, for example. So there are drones flying somewhere, streaming the signal through H.264, and our decoders in the police vehicle, in this bus, they are decoding the signal and showing it all over the operator stations. The second thing is, it's actually more about monitoring. So we have a number of sources in the fire department vehicle, which is actually different computers, different systems, and we also have different number of decoders to power up the video wall, which is inside the vehicle. What we can do here, it's actually have like a very nice low latency solution to use inside very small space, which is actually the bus, like a bigger bus for fire department. So those are actual projects Kramer did in the past year. We cannot disclose the details, but the Kramer products are actually considered here very reliable solutions. So keep that in mind if you want to supply any type of government, police, or fire department projects. We can serve you with some use cases, actual use cases where Kramer products are working like a charm. Okay, guys, so before we will go into the choice overload and my recommendation in terms of the products, I have one more question to you. So, which type of the AVoIP standard is most interesting for you for your projects? The poll is available on your screens, so help me by answering the questions. I am really interested how what will be the output of it. So you can select more than one, H.264 to 65, proprietary products, SDVoE, IPMX, or none of it, if you are not interested. So I can say to you, I did the very same poll for a Polish presentation, because before this presentation, I had the very same training, but in Polish language. And over there, the results were very surprising to me. But let's see for the results from you. Okay, I believe we can stop it and share the results. You should see it, and it's different, I can say. Most of you responded that vendor-related standards like KDS 717 are actually quite good for your own project. That's cool, just use it. But the most popular answer in Poland, and actually it's the second here, it's H.264 to 65 codecs, which is actually really interesting because we do not have many devices to serve this kind of. We have a lot of them, but not that many like, for example, other 1 gigabit solutions. Yeah. And some of you also considered SDVoE or IPMX solutions as attractive. That's good. Good, thank you for your answers here. Okay, so let's go. So as you saw, in terms of the products we have in our portfolio, there is plenty of them. Many manufacturers, technologies. So which one to select for your products, for your projects, I should say. So the first is the general overview, how the AVoIP offer looks in our portfolio. So my differentiation here is very simple. We have this economy shelf with Infobit products. We have this mid-market shelf where most of our projects are. And there is a premium shelf with SDVoE solutions from ZeeVee, and Matrox solutions are also here. But let's go further. I hope you are aware of existing of codec triangle. So this is actually quite useful way to explain the differences between specific codecs, specific methods, ways to transmit the signal. So the codec triangle is about 3 things: image quality, generated latency, so delay, and usage of bandwidth. So let's take a look into the H.264. Let me enlarge it for you a little. Let's take a look on H.264-265 solutions. So you see in the triangle that the image quality is quite low here because of the high compression. But thanks to the high compression, it's actually the bandwidth usage, it's really low. And thanks to the compression, the latency is actually quite high here, the highest from the solutions we are presenting. Then let's go to the other spectrum of this codec triangle, SDVoE. So you see the image quality is the best you can get, it's the highest. But actually, the bandwidth which is used here, 10 gigabit, it's really high. And on the latency side, there is almost no latency here because we are using a lot of bandwidth. And somewhere in between, like a compromise between different aspects, it's a JPEG 2000 solutions. I would say it's oversimplifications, because even in H.264 codecs we have a selection of products which are actually offering very nice image quality and quite low latency and using slightly more bandwidth. But this is just for you to imagine how it looks, how are the compromises we need to have. So which technology to select here? So what's the critical thing in our project? We need to ask some questions to ourselves, to our partners, to end users. So what's the key thing for the AVoIP distribution project? Do we need the best possible quality, or visually lossless is within 1 gigabit it's enough? Do we need video walls? Do we need simple solution? If yes, we can go with the actually most of our offer, KDS 717, just at power solution, or Infobit iSwitch 2000. But what will be the answer on another question? What's the integration? Do you need the integration with existing equipment like cameras? Do you need like a very professional quality and flexibility in terms of the connections? Do you need to be efficient in terms of the bandwidth usage? If yes, you should go with the H.264-265 solutions, KDS 100, Matrox MEVEX, or iSwitch 265 from Infobit. But there is also a question. If you need the perfect picture, you don't want any latency at all, and you want to use AVoIP solution more like a video wall controller replacement, if the answer here is yes, you need to actually go for SDVoE-like solutions or Matrox IPMX, because those offers actually the best flexibility, the best functions, the most comprehensive set of functions to achieve that. Okay, let's go further even. Okay, how about the budget? So if if you consider only AV over IP to your project, but the budget is limited and or the budget is on the certain level, use this. So if you need to be cheap but still need to have like a proper solution, we have a KDS7 from Kramer and iSwitch. If you still have some budget and you want to go with the well-recognizable brand and have like a more functions for the price, go with the KDS17 or just add power. If you actually need the top quality and the budget is not the thing here, well, I will recommend ZeeVee Zyper 4K or Matrox solutions. How about level of or difficulty level in terms of integration? So here we can also consider different levels. So first, if you are just starting or just started to implement AV over IP solutions and you are not sure which one to select because you are afraid it will be too complicated, well, I would recommend you the KDS7, which is crazy easy to configure, or just at power, which is even easier. If you have some experience, you need more functions, do more with the signal, go for the KDS17, or if you need some more budget-friendly solution, go with the iSwitch from Infobit. But if you need to be, you know, in the top in terms of the quality you need to provide, and you need more functions like a multi-stream, multi-channel streaming, and you don't afraid to integrate this kind of systems, just go with the Matrox and specific ZeeVee solutions here. Okay, guys, I believe that's we are coming to an end of our presentation. So before we do that, we'll end. I have one more question to ask you. So let me find my polls. Where are they? Yes, they are here. So my next question for you is why AV over IP is interesting for you. It's maybe because of the prices these days or scalability, future-proof. Maybe it's about being more remote solution comparing to traditional AV or a savings you can get in some projects. So help me with the answers. And in the meantime, I will do some self-advertising. So, guys, we are not limiting ourselves only to the trainings, you know. We actually have a more trainings coming. And first of all, it's the audio offer. It's now completely different. We have a new products from Kramer, from different manufacturers, and my colleague Maciej is going to introduce all those products to you during our webinar on May 27th. So I recommend you to register to it, and I will share the links with you in a second. But in the meantime, I have all the answers, I believe, for the poll about the most interesting AV over IP aspects. So give me a second, I will share the results with you. Okay. So, which factors are convincing you or are already convinced to implement AVoIP solutions. So, and the most common answer is flexibility in terms of building AV systems. I cannot agree more. Thanks to the AVoIP, if we are replacing traditional Matrox, we can do so much more with it. You know, with all the additional features we can have, USB transmission, better audio handling, making the installation asymmetrical. It's a superb solution, and you know, these days it's actually the reliability. It's here. What else? Scalability and future-proof, for sure. AVoIP adding more endpoints, it's not complicated at all. And the pricing, which is getting better and better. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let me share the registration links with you. So on the chat, you will see the registration links. They are here. So the second training is the Kramer training about finally refreshing the Matrox portfolio. Be there, they have new 4x4, 8x8 professional matrices with scalers on both ends, fantastic solutions, quite pricey, but if you see the functions they are delivering, it's actually very good price to quality and function ratio. So register to it, you have links in the chat, you can click it, you can register later, no problem. And yeah, and it's actually all from my side today. A small remark for the end, all the presentation, the links, everything, I will share my summary with you tomorrow. So you will get the presentation in PDF, you will get all the links and even more interesting files. So stay tuned, register for more trainings, and thank you for being here. I wish you very good rest of the week and hopefully see you soon in person or during online meetings. Thank you.